Oh, we got Kaden in the house. Wow, there we go. You guys are all early birds ready first thing in there. We're getting going. I'm gonna drop this in the chat and I'll drop it maybe a couple of times. But like objection, love, like one, dislike, 10, love it. Where's everyone at when it comes to objections? I'll drop this in a couple times, by the way, as people come in. But like everyone on the call right now, where are you guys at when it comes to objections? Oh, I'll also change my name. Sorry. I see it popped up. Let me rename. Oh, that's the host and panels. Let me send it to everyone. There we go. And let me go rename. Ah, there we go. Oh, I mean, Peyton, if you can hook up a Wave T-shirt, I mean, I'm not too far away. I'll put my name as the Wave team. All right, I'll make it happen. Kyle, you're a four. Explain the four really quick. Like, why is it a four? Drop it in. What? Hold on, I got you by the way. Drop in Y here. And where are you at when it comes to Daniel? Where are you at when it comes to objections? 1 through 10. One dislike, 10 love it. Because by today, the end of today's session, if you're not a 10, I've not done my job. No, I'm just kidding. You'll see it though. What's up, fireflies? Let's just get out of there. How? Because if I'm getting objections, at least I'm talking. Ah, good point. And then Kyle will also cover today, like what objections are you getting? So make sure to have those like listed in your notes and so forth, so we can bring that up. So hopefully the frameworks that we teach today, even if you're anywhere between beginning to season pro and everything else, will definitely help sharpen this on here. So we're definitely excited for that. Haley or Kaden, I'm gonna ask you guys to play full out as well. 1 through 10. Do you love objections, hate them, and so forth? Daniel dropped in. I said a five. I'd rather have laydowns, but I know an objection is just a smoke screen. 100 freaking percent. By the way, now here's the thing, and I don't have this in today's session today. Um, I asked this question probably about like 2 months ago, but I said, would you rather have a conversation that just like fizzled out and doesn't had nothing happen, or one that was filled with objections? And people were like, "Oh man, I just rather they just say no and everything else." It's like I'd rather get the objections. I'd rather face those objections up front because I know that they're at least seriously considering this, right? Like, are they made the consideration and so forth? So, like, I want to have a better understanding of that. Okay, you dropped in five common objections, allow me to learn how to overcome them. Yep, playing right in the middle. 1 through 10, you gave me a five, right in the middle. Okay, so we don't have any objection lovers yet. By the end of this call, if we get you closer, my whole goal is if you're at a four, a five, or another five, wherever you're at, I want to get you bumped up closer to the loving objections. To the point to where when you commit and you say, you know what, I love objections, we'll get you a t-shirt that has a number 10 objection on the back with a heart, and you'll love objections from there on out. So that's my goal for today. Let me share my screen, get this going for you. If you guys are ready, drop a seven in the chat. And a seven doesn't mean you're committing to seven on objection love. Drop a seven in the chat. Let me share my screen and let's get this going. Kyle's ready to go. Daniel's ready to go. Let's get it going. I'll give you guys also the roadmap as well. So let me go share screen and go grab the webinar. All right, let's share. That's this document right here. Let me confirm that I'm sharing. Can you guys see my screen? Everyone good? What's up, Mona? There we go. Okay, seven. But Clave, you're not James Madison no more. We don't have James Madison no more. What happened, guys? What happened here? Let's just take a moment of silence for not having any more James Madisons yet, right? They might show up later, but that was kind of funny because the Clave, you had to drop in every time that like it said James Madison, but you would add in the comments. So I remember that very distinctly. So kudos for that. Okay, so here's the thing: objection handling. The kind of the rule for today is that there's a lot of content. I'm going to try going at a pace that is very comfortable while leading more on the fast side, but also I don't want to leave anyone behind. With the caveat of this, you are going to get this document as well so that you can go through it all. So if there is one part that I don't cover well in depth, you can ask questions in the chat and we can stop and talk about them, but I might not get through everything. So I'm going to try covering the highlights of what I feel like is best for you in this call, but you're definitely able to vote in comments as well. So don't ever feel like as we go through this that like, oh man, he didn't really stay on this. I really covered a lot. You are getting this document, and I tried putting this document more as a you can go review this document and get the insights that you need as well afterwards. So like a leave behind versus feeling like if you don't cover it, then you're not going to do this. And if we have time, which I'm hoping we do, I do actually want to pull two people up to do objection handling live, and they can choose the objections they want to face and so forth. And the only thing that I have, and I don't have this listed actually on the document right here, is that when we do objection handling for this, is I will allow you to choose the difficulty level anywhere between like, hey, make this what someone drop in like a lay down objection where it's like easy to handle versus what we call the impossible objections. And what I mean by that is like you're never going to convince this person, and your goal is just to stretch the objections and keep handling it. Now, sometimes you'll face those, but it's rare, and so it's good to really get pushed through there. So we'll get that over to you. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Kaden, for jumping in for the docs and the sessions. Okay, so the goal for today, we have a part one, and then we have some different stuff in part one, a part two, a part three, and a part four. And then I definitely want to make sure that we get to the actual role playing. So I'm actually going to set a quick little timer right now to make sure that we get there. So let me set a quick timer, put it in front of me. When this timer goes off, I will know that we need to start role playing it. If everyone's ready to go, drop a yes in the chat. And let's get it going for today. Got to stay fast on the fingers here. And there we go. Kyle's ready to go. Carter's ready to go. What's up, everyone? Gus. All right. We got the team going. We got the dials in. Okay. And I'll also make sure to zoom in a little bit more on my screen because I don't want you guys to read tiny text. So the biggest thing that I want to express, I won't stay too long on this. Um, by the way, before I even share this, so you might have seen it already. How many of you had played? So I'm just going to drop this in the chat on here. How many of you played sports growing up at any point? And if so, which one? Anyone play any sports growing up, right? And if so, which one? Drop that in the chat. The reason why is because the reason I like to set the stage, calisthenics, that's what's up, is that if you look at like professional basketball players, the guys that are making tens of millions of dollars doing this a year, some of them are the best on the planet for what they do. They still practice before every single game and even outside in off-season stuff. They're shooting around, they're doing free throws, they're doing jump shots. What's up, paddle? I see you guys. They're doing shoot-up jumpers, they're doing all these forms and all these practice, and they're running drills and they've already done it tens of thousands of times, even when they were when they were young. I'll just put young instead of old. There we go. Baseball players still take batting practice every single game. They field the grounders, they do the catches, the outfield. Pitchers still throwing the bullpen, you know, right? And so they're still doing these things. Hockey players are still doing whatever hockey players do. I was like, let's just put that in there. But every professional, every level, from the youngest kid in the rec league and everything else, they still practice from this, right? So you've never seen an NBA player, minus Allen Iverson, if anyone remembers that reference of like, are we talking about practice here? What's going on? I'm good on free throws and everything else, right? Or I've had enough batting practice, I've had enough reps. They're still doing the boring stuff on there, the quote unquote boring stuff. And so the question in here that I have listed for you is that you're in a business right now, you're running a business and so forth. So I want you to keep doing the reps and keep doing stuff that's needed. The reason why I say this is because of all the reps that you can do, the dials are probably the most important, but the second most important, and this is subjective to me, by the way, I would say would be how do you handle the objections that are going to come? So it's not if they're going to come, it's when and how many are going to come is probably the biggest thing. So these are things that I like to break down. And the last thing I break this is that it matters the reps that you do off camera and so forth. Because you can win on the camera and so forth, but it's the reps that you're doing outside and the volume that you're doing. So question really quick, when it comes to objections, and I'll drop this in the chat as well. When it comes to objectives, how many of you are practicing? And hold on, give me a second. I'm dropping this in the chat. Yes or no. How many people actually are practicing objections? And don't say yes just to, oh man, I want to look good for Richard here, like be honest with yourself. This is a safe space. We're here to get better. So this isn't a just say yes to say yes. Like how many people actually practice this? So we got no, not really, not really. Sorry, not and then not really. What else? And by the way, this isn't like a shock and awe and everything else. Nope. The biggest thing, and keep dropping those in, by the way, the biggest thing that I've noticed from people, and this even goes for like my own sales team and so forth, we have to put on the calendar to give them time to do that and give them permission to do that. This isn't something that they innately just go and do. So this is stuff that I would strongly suggest that you go and do of actually how to handle objections, what are you doing, and set time aside. You can go weekly. I'm pretty aggressive, and I say at least 15 minutes a day, which I have at the very end of this call. but like you should know what objections you're going to face and how to pre-frame them and how to handle them. And you should at least run through them so you get the frame of the script in there so you get really good at them. What I've noticed, and we'll cover the frames in just a second, I've gotten better at asking deeper questions and doing multiple questions, which is a little advanced. We'll cover a little bit of it today. But it's how do you ask the best question in terms of their objection and with the goal of handling it and getting to a better understanding. What that has required of me, and so I'll go a little bit slower for this, that's required me to have a better understanding and to listen more and to also like restate what are they actually going through. Because the thing that I've noticed, has anyone, if I drop the name Dave Ramsey, does anyone know who that is? Drop in like Dave in the comments if you know who that is. If no, you can say no as well. Um, but like, if you know who Dave Ramsey is, and I don't know if he's still doing this, so I apologize, but like he used to have this like, and he's probably still is, by the way, this daily call for like 3 hours a day where people can call in and ask their questions. You know what's the funniest part? His advice almost all the time was very similar, but everyone thought that their problem was very unique. But it all came down to like three or four buckets. And so he knew how just to personalize it, handle it for them. Does everyone agree with that? Is everyone good with that so far? Just that thought or that feeling? And the reason why I bring that up to you is that like you have to be able to personalize the objection for what they're going for versus like, oh, I've already heard this before and I'm just going to give a blanket statement. Is everyone fair on that? Is everyone good so far? Drop a yes in the chat if you're good. Because I know that's very fast, but I just want to make sure we're on the same page. Sweet. Okay. Sweet. Okay, so that's just the biggest thing that you want to understand. The thing is before we even get to objections that we're facing or our clients are facing, there's an internal objection on here that we face as well. And so some of you are facing this. I don't need to role play. I've been doing it for years. I feel stupid doing this in front of people. I'll just learn on real calls. This isn't my objection. My market is completely different. Or, hey, I'm not really facing objections. Those are kind of like the 4 to 5. I wrote down four of them, but those are kind of the ones. What internal objections are you guys facing when it comes to this about actually doing the practicing of objections in role play? Anyone have any internal objections that they're facing? Drop it in the chat, by the way. If you, and so we have this on here, so I'll drop this in while we're doing this internal objections. Okay, so when we have internal objections, everyone's good. I just want to make sure we handle this first because I've done this training before and we got to the very end. And what ends up happening is that people are like, oh, I don't really like doing this because it's tough. I'm not confrontational, I'm an introvert, I'm this, I'm that. There's several internal objections that we tell ourselves. But like at the end of the day, if you at least understand that you call it out, then it's easier to handle or solve and to have even us or even the wave team handle that for you. It's like walk through that. And if you at least address it, that's half the battle is at least calling it out of what is that for you. Don, what is it for you? What's your internal objection? I'll drop this in chat. What does it look like for you? So drop that in, then we can circle back to that, Don. But that would be good to know. And I'll come back to this as well, Don. So don't think I'm moving on and won't come back to this. I'll come back and remember that. The biggest thing that we have here, the one big idea that I want to share with you is that objection is not a no, right? It's a person telling you exactly where they're stuck. So I personally like objections for understanding where they stuck or what's the belief that they're stuck with when it comes to all these different things. So your job is not to win an argument. We're not treating it like an argument whatsoever, right? It's to make sure that we make a clear decision because the worst outcome for a prospect who actually needs a no is there's no decision at all. So my biggest thing that I look at when it comes to objections is their conversations. They're not interruptions. I in my how do I say this? In my calls, I purposely like play whack-a-mole. If you guys remember that game where the little like gopher or whatever it is pops out and you have to hit it with a little cartoon hammer at like the arcades, right? Is that I try handling it up front and just asking the stuff like on the call or even there, like, hey, is there anything that would actually make this not worth your time? So that's kind of like a weird question to ask for some people, but like, and that's really where you like I open up to objections, so I give them the time and the space to do that, so I can handle it. Because like I'm gonna go book the appointment, I'm gonna move forward, but before I just like, because they you can sit there and have an appointment and say like, hey, I want to talk to you about insert your industry or business. Does tomorrow on Friday at 2 o'clock work? They can just say yes and move on. But if I don't ask any further questions, they might just no show me, right? And so I like to ask questions that would be their top objections up forward. So, like, let's say I get the booked appointment and so forth. I'll lean into like two or three questions that would be possible objections for them. Like, hey, super excited to talk tomorrow, Friday at 2 p.m. Want to make sure that this is a good fit for you. How much budget do you have ready for investment? Because I do marketing, right? How much budget do you already have for this investment? Right? And I was like, or like, how much budget are you already spending when it comes to paid ads? I want to know that stuff up front so that I can work with them versus just sitting there. How do I say this? Versus just sitting there and going like, okay, great, can't wait for 2 p.m. But you don't even know if they're a good fit yet. So I purposely asked for stuff that would get to the objections versus just sitting there like not doing it at all. Is everyone fair? Is that fair? Drop a fair in the chat if that's fair. Are we good with this so far? Of what we're trying to do? Cool. Awesome. Okay, let's continue pushing forward. So when we look through this, the root of everything that we're talking about, it comes to a couple of different objection buckets, is what we call them for like the root of this. But the biggest thing I want to express to you is that there is this thing called tension. It's creating in movies and everything else, and tension actually creates excitement in movies. I get that, right? Like, oh, the person's holding on the edge of the cliff. They're doing this. They might not make it. The doors are closing. Like, there's all this tension that happens. But when it comes to objection, it's basically between the life that they have now, which you want to understand where they are, and the life they say they want. The key word is say they want. They say they want to be there, but between those two things is where the objections exist, right? And so that's probably the biggest thing that I understand. So you got to strip the words away and almost land in the two buckets. Before we cover those two buckets, let's see what Kyle got in the comments really quick. What's FEX really quick? Help me out with that, Kyle. What would work for FEX? How financial industry maybe? No. What's FEX? Final expense in this, insurance. Okay, so yeah, let's definitely cover that. How much money are you already saving, Final? Yeah, so this is the thing, Kyle, to ask, right? Because like I used to work with some funeral directors, and so when it comes to insurance and so forth, like probably the biggest thing is what questions you need to know up front that tells them that like they've either done some work beforehand, right? Like to save up for this, or was it unexpected and wasn't saved yet? And so, Kyle, the better question for you is to ask like, what questions can you ask up front that gets them to like really understand like have they already been thinking about this before, or is this like an out of the blue for them, right? So if you can, Kyle, drop in some of those questions that you might be asking, because that would be really good to understand. Because it's also shown that like you're also understanding what the market's looking for and what they're going through, right? Is that fair? Okay. Yeah, because that's the kind of stuff I just want to know, like, where's their pulse? Because, like, it's two different routes, right? Especially on the final expense side of like, have you already been preparing for this and setting aside for the future? Or is this an out of the blue thing for you right now? Of course, you might have different verbiage that's way more polished than that, but it gets down to those two routes because those are two different paths that you're going to be taking from this whole entire thing. So let's talk through the two buckets, and thank you, Kyle, for that question. Anytime you guys have questions, by the way, feel free to drop them. We'll take the time and space for those. The first bucket is just uncertainty. You guys have seen this bucket before. Oh, I don't have this bucket bolded. The one on there's uncertainty that I need to think about. I've been burned before. They've had all these different things, right? It's just uncertainty. Or the second bucket right here is money, right? And the thing is that there's two ways that we like to split the money side. It's either they don't see the value or they literally cannot afford it, right? So it's one of those two things. Now for everyone in here, and I'll drop the words, but it's going to sound weird because it's not a we're not using the basketball term. But when it comes to the buckets that we're seeing with objections from these top two, which buckets are you facing? Drop a one or a two in the chat. Which buckets are you really facing? Is it the uncertainty bucket, a one, or is it two, the money bucket? If it is two, you can also drop in like a two value or a two afford. It's probably like the biggest thing on there. So the better question, Kyle, on this is like, have you already set aside for this yet, or is this one of those things you've been meaning to get to? It's probably the better question for the final expense insurance. It's probably like a really good one to think about. Okay, so we're facing one and two, McClay and then Liz, right? Is two. And final pick, it seems to be one and two. Yeah. And so the thing, and so I don't have this actually in today's training, but since you guys are bringing this up, I thought about this is like we talked about the whack-a-mole and so forth, right? But how do you already pre-handle this stuff up front about like, hey, a lot of people when they come to talk about final expense and so forth. And by the way, everyone else on here, drop in your industry so I can personalize this live for you. The industry that you're working in. So I got final expense insurance from Kyle, but other ones, please drop them in so I can use those as examples for you. But like, hey, a lot of people, when they talk about the final expense insurance and so forth, right? They always mention that they need to think about it. But like, here's the four things that we always want people to think about, right? Have you thought about any of those things before? Okay. See, now I got the cool thing I'm in when you guys say FEX. I know what FEX is. Okay, retirement FEX, same as Kyle. What's up? This is the FEX party, right? Can we call it the FEX party? Right? I'm just kidding. So that's the different things, but those are the different questions that you want to actually understand as you move forward on this. Is just making sure that, like, as we go through these different things, you're able to put in there the questions that handle the uncertainty up front. And so as you're able to do this with people, that you're able to get in there to do this. Okay, so Medicare, insurance, and real estate, perfect. But you're able to actually do this with people, handling the uncertainty up front, and then asking those questions up front as well. So as you can do that, trading, awesome, perfect. So thank you guys for the insight. So I definitely know where to tailor this for all of your industries as well. And just the money side as well. The value is harder for them to say, right? On there, it's usually that I can't afford this, but then you got to find the creative ways or find out what is your disqualifications and so forth. But that's just one of those objections on there. So have different paths for that as you guys move forward. But that's really the two buckets. I'm going to go way more in depth, but I just want to make sure that all objections really lead back to those two. Can you have a third bucket? Yes, you can create a third bucket if you want, but it really, the root of those two buckets is one of those two things. So the other thing that we also think of it's like fear is wearing a mask in those buckets. And so that's probably a different thing that you want to actually address and be there for. This is going to sound weird to you, but I wanted to bring this up because this is one of the analogies I've been using since day one. Is that there's two fighters in the corner. So let's call it boxing, right? Where there's you guys remember the Rock'em Sock'em where you had to press those buttons until one of the heads like popped off, right? The little like I don't know. I might be too old for you guys. All right, let's think about this. You guys are like, you're not older than me. I get that. But like the old school games where you had to do that, one fighter hears the bell, ding, 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 stands up smiling, and is ready for the next round. They live for this. They've cut weight. They're ready to go. They're not surprised by this. And there's another fighter where they hear that bell. They didn't feel like they had enough time in between in between the rounds, and so their stomach drops, and they're just hoping to survive the next round. They're going for this. The reason why I say this is that are you, and I'm not saying that we're all fighters here, but are you, and I'll just drop in the word fighter in the chat. But when it comes to this, are you fighter one or two when it comes to how you're handling the bells? And this fighter, this ring, like the ding ding ding, is when the first objection comes. So drop that in. I'm going to keep going forward, but that's the thing that I want you to focus on is that objection is the bell, right? That's what we're going to ring on here. It's going to ring every single time. Round one bell might be, who is this? When you first come up. Round two might be, send me an email. Round three might be, I need to think about it. And guess what? There's actually extra rounds that happen. So you got to be prepared. It's not, hey, you're only going to face one objection and you'll never get another objection on that call. They might have objections laid on top in form of uncertainty and fear and defense versus handling this, right? So, question for everyone, and I dropped this in chat already, is which fighter are you? Are you the one that where you hear that bell and you run towards the objection? Like you're ready to go forward? Or are you kind of just like waiting on the back and like playing distance as defense? Like, I don't really want to handle objection. Please stay far away. Like, which one are you? This is also going to help tailor what we're doing as well. Okay, now for the record, if no one's dropping in fighters one or two, you can be a lover. That's okay. You can drop in lover. No, I'm just kidding. We want a fighter one or two. This is just here to help personalize it for you. So if you drop that in, we'll be able to help you out. The reason why we also say this is that we notice one, I was hoping no objections happen. You're happy when it happens, but you don't want any objections. I get it, right? What we actually hear, fighter one, there we go. Sweet. Okay, so we have some go-getters. I deal a lot, and I find this out that like people are like, I've been doing sales for a long time, but I just haven't figured it out. It turns out that they're actually fighter two. And here's how you actually listen to if they're a fighter two when it comes to this, right? Your tonality changes, right? You go, you hear the relaxing curious, you actually start getting defensive, and sometimes they push back and so forth. Or you start getting very defensive on there. Now, it doesn't mean that you get defensive, but I've also seen people in their tonality when they get objections where it starts becoming defeating for them. And so what I've done is that we review sales calls for prospecting on demand for our clients. We'll go listen for the framing at the front part of the call. We'll go listen, even if it's just an appointment setting. But what we notice is that, let's say your tonality coming to this is like a calm, cool, a 7 or an 8. So 10 is over the top. And sometimes you're not going to show up over the top. You're going to be more 7 and 8, calm, cool, relaxed. You've been doing hundreds of the calls, you're knocking this out, right? But the second you get objection, I've seen people go from like excited to like kind of like, okay, the jig is up, my tonality is down. I'm kind of getting a little frustrated here because you're calling number 300 of the day, like, and people's tonality changes versus staying in the moment. I actually would ask you to raise your tonality in terms of your energy and excitement for this, so you can stay in there. Because the second, like the half a second after the objection in their tonality is where a lot of people actually can lose the deal from the subconscious standpoint. So I want you listening, and when you hear that objection, say in your brain, not out loud, and you hear the reasons why, ding, 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 here we go. Like this is my part. This is the reason why I'm here right now to help serve you and get you past one of your current beliefs right now. I am here to help solve this for you. And so I want you guys to have that experience when it comes to objections where you personally say ding, ding, ding in your head. The only reason why I say in your head is because one time when I learned this method, this is probably like 15 years ago, and it was like ding, 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 and so forth, right? Um, when I was going through this, I actually said that out loud. So someone came with an objection. I went ding, 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 clapped my hands, was like, all right, bring it. And there's like, oh, I was just telling you I don't have money. And I was like, oh, okay, well, and I got so thrown off. I threw myself off, by the way. So just don't say the ding, ding, ding out loud. Like I heard the objection, I recognize it. And I was like, yeah, let's go, let's get the objection. And then like I froze. So because they're like, wait, what? What's going on? Like they were thrown off because I was thrown off. So don't do that loud. That's when it backfires. So please don't pull an out loud moment like that. Is everyone good so far with what we're doing? We're going to cover it. Now we're going to jump into the actual. If you have any questions, feel free to drop this in the chat. Zep, I got you. Um, One of two types, which I've already covered. You've either never done this before or you're seasoned. If you're a beginner and you've never done this, you're going to be scared of the objections. If you're seasoned, you're actually like a veteran on here, right? Veteran or seasoned. You actually might be bored by this. But here's the thing that I've noticed about the people in the room. Both are not present on those calls. The biggest thing I want you to understand with your objections is that you have to be able to help people in their moment and make them feel. I'm not saying they have to make them feel special, but you have to make them feel heard. It's probably the better way I would say this, right? Now, I do call it out when people are like, well, I have this very unique problem. I was like, you know what? I've actually never heard that before. But then I said, no, I'm just kidding. I hear this all the time, but it comes up in different ways. But let's talk through how we can actually handle that for you. So, this is the biggest thing I want you to understand. No matter where you are on the spectrum of never done this season, you have to be present on there. What's up? Ding, ding, ding. That's what's up. I'll take it. That'll be our little new catchphrase, by the way. Um, so we can get that going and keep moving forward. Because even if we go back to the very top, the professionals that play major league sports and everything else, they're still very seasoned and they're well dialed in, right? So let's go through the actual ACA framework. Yes, definitely stay present. Here's what it is, right? I'm not going to be able to cover everything because I definitely want to get role playing. I still have my timer going right now, so I'm definitely well on track and well on time. There's really three beats which are very fast when we talk through this, right? Heart rate's going to go up. You're going to get everything else going. The three things that you have to do is you have to acknowledge, confirm, and then have an ask. And so let's cover the ACA. Acknowledge is give them respect for what they say. So don't bulldoze them. Don't argue. Don't start with like, but this or but that. You got to open up a phrase like, hey, that's totally fair. Hey, that makes sense why you would say that. All these different things. So basically acknowledge your objection. You're inviting the objection to be present and be able to handle it versus dismiss or anything else like, oh, well, let's just move on, right? You acknowledge it. You also confirm what it is. So you want to isolate the objection. Sometimes you might get hit with multiple ones. So he says, hey, let's just take one at a time and let's walk through this if that's fair. So, hey, I hear you have multiple things. Let's walk through them one at a time just to make sure that we move forward with this. And so as you're going through this with everything else, I want you to really isolate it. Make sure you're handling the real objection, not a decoy. Because some people can say, like, well, I don't know if my wife will be present on here, right? Or like if my wife will like this or say yes or anything else, right? That might happen. If isolate it and says, well, let's just focus where you're at today. Is this something that you would actually want to do? Like, hey, totally get it. Wife totally makes a sense. Or spouse, let's say spouse for, for both sides here. Hey, I totally get that the spouse might have questions, but outside of the spouse, where do you stand with this right now? So if you notice, I'm going to make sure and have a confirming question and not hide behind this. So just so I'm clear, is it a timing? So like, is it just the timing of this specifically? Outside of that, is there anything else that you would stop you from doing this deal or stop you from moving forward? So if we were to solve this one thing, would you be good to go? The thing is that most people skip this part and it's just like really fake on there. So it's kind of like, oh, I hear you, and then they haven't asked, versus like confirming that this is what we're looking to do. The other thing I would challenge you on, this is probably the most important part, but this isn't where you should start. This is the third part on here. And I'm going to say this probably two or three times right now. Ask the question that moves them, then be quiet. What does that mean? I want you to ask the reframing question to actually get a great question. And this is where you do the best thing. Ask a great question and then fill the silence and then let them fill the silence. If you guys remember back in the day, what was it like 20 years ago? It's called like the pregnant pause or whatever it is. That's when you're asked for money. It also applies when it comes to objections and everything else. And by the way, that is dating myself with the Rolodex of sales and so forth, right? But you want to ask the question to help them through this and then give them time and space to answer this and also give them time to think. Don't fill the space for them. What were you hoping that this might solve for you? What happens if nothing changes in 6 months? You said that you're here and you haven't done this yet. What happens in 6 months if we don't solve this? Or if you don't solve this? You can even say if you don't solve this. What needs to be true for this to be a yes? So the different thing on here is that as you're going through these different things, the question's really what's going to matter. So have an acknowledgement, confirm that what they're actually going through so you can isolate it, then reframe for the question is the biggest frame. And I do have examples for you as well. That's probably the biggest frame that I would want you to walk away with is the ACA framework. So the order of why this matters, acknowledgement lowers the guard, confirming, make sure that you're aiming for the real thing, and ask pulls them back onto your side of the court. So most people go for it, and I already cover this, covers the ask and so forth. The reason why, when you do this with everything else, I've seen people skip the ACA and they just go to ask, and they didn't acknowledge it. Someone's like, "Well, I just have to wait because, like," and I'm making this up, by the way. "Oh, my dog died," and they go, "That's great. So what needs to happen for you to get?" I'm like, "What?" Like, and I've heard this on the sales call where it's something bad happened, and they said, "Well, that's great," and they skipped the acknowledgement. They didn't give it space or presence to be there. Right. So you didn't invite the objection. So if you don't invite the objection out and say it out loud or anything else, you can't solve it then if you're just trying to skip over it. So make sure to go through this. If everyone's good, drop an ACA in the chat. If you have questions, this is a great spot to ask questions on here because the rest of this, I just have confirmations and so forth. This is the biggest framework that works across all industries and everything else. We train this. Now, if I can give you guys one funny thing, so our daughter just turned 9, which is super exciting. She actually knows how to isolate objections. So she follows ACA and it's natural for her. So it's really weird because like she was like, "Hey, you guys want," like she'll ask like, "Hey, do you guys want to go get ice cream?" And we're like, "No, we're not getting ice cream." She's like, "But you love ice cream, right?" "Hey, I hear you. Hey, don't you think mom would want ice cream right now? Shouldn't we offer that to go get it for her?" And so we're like, "Oh, okay." We know her tricks now, but guess what? She's getting sharper and better when it comes to this. So like she knows how to do the ACA. It's absolutely crazy. And it's natural for her. Okay. So we covered that. We will get back into the actual stuff as well. I'm going to go a little bit faster through this and give you this document so you can actually go through the remaining parts. We're going to cover spot check a couple more things for you and then give you time. And I do want to pull people up before the top of the hour to actually do some role playing as well. So we'll make sure we got time for that as well. When they don't answer, this is probably the biggest thing that happens is don't flinch or like when they don't so when they don't answer to your question here, when they don't answer to your ask is the biggest thing. I purposely pull this out because I feel like we see people fill that space up, and so I do want to cover that really quick. Let's do something really quick, and this is way too big. Oh, it's just one step bigger. Is that when you're doing all these things, allow for space to be present and allow for moments to like sink in. Don't feel like you have to fill up that space with it, right? I see people flinch and they have to fill in that silence. Don't fill in the silence. Let the pause happen, let it be there so you can handle this. I don't know if this applies to anyone here, but I'll still say it loud. We see it on our side, so it's not as common, but people get defensive versus curious, right? when people push back on anything that they ask, find out the real reason behind their objections. Like, ask deeper questions, be a friend to them, right? Imagine you're sitting across them at the table and just asking really great questions. Ding, ding, ding. Down, we'll keep that going all day long. I freaking love that. That's what you want to do. You want to really dig into the behind the what's behind the objection. Don't be defensive. Stay curious the whole time. Say the honest thing cleanly. Honestly, I don't want to guess and give you the wrong answer. This is if, and I do have this later in here as well, a slightly different version, is if you don't have the answer, right? Have some sort of sentence that you can do, like, let me get the exact number or the exact answer for you on this, like the better answer. What I can tell you is that, and if you know anything, if you don't, then you can skip this part. But always come back if you don't know the answer. I do have it deeper in here, but make sure to set aside the time, bridge back. Hey, setting that aside for now or for a second, if we get you a clean answer today, or if I can follow up and get you the answer that gets you better understanding, is there anything else standing between you and this moving forward? And this being whatever it is, and moving forward with this, right? Because then they might hit you with another objection that says, no, if you have that, then you understand what the stakes are at. And so then you can do this. I don't like making stuff up, so don't do this. This is for the beginners, but even the seasoned professionals do this as well. When it comes to the answers, is write down the stuff that you don't know, like the questions that you got. So if you don't know what the answer is, write that down. Find out from a team member, from anyone else, or yourself, like figure it out. And then write down what you would have wanted to say and how you would handle it and practice that. I always tell people, like, hey, if you miss an objection and you completely botch it, keep staying composed and moving forward with good tonality and just circle back to it. But if you completely mess it up, circle back and get it corrected. Hey, I know that I mentioned in the call that we're actually going to do 6 months. It's actually a 3 month engagement, right? So I did misstate that. That's my bad on my side. But they'll also own that. And then now moving forward, you know that you shouldn't mention 6 months, that's three or so forth, right? So I just want to make sure if you don't know the answer, I don't want people to lie. If you don't know the answer, know ways of handling that so you can move forward with that. Don't get too comfortable. 100%. 100%. Absolutely agree with that, Don. Okay. The dial. The thing is, and so I listed some of these out as well when we are coming through this, is you're going to get hit with the, and I'll actually break these down for you guys as well. Okay. You're going to get with the who is this? How did you get my number? Gatekeeper, right? And then we also have that on the gatekeeper. I'll put that in there as well for the gatekeeper. Which one of these do you actually face the most of? Who is this? How did you get my number? Or gatekeeper? He's not, he or she's not available. What's this regarding to? Okay, so Jason dropped the who is this, so let's cover that one. The who is this, right? So they're not hostile, they're disoriented. Your energy and answer this before you do. Hey, yeah, absolutely, Jason. Fair question. My name is Richard. I work with so and so, right? The reason, and so this is what you do, and you want to do in one breath. Hey, this is Richard with Strategy with Richard or Prospect on Man. Reaching out to you because, and then fill it back in with what's happening, right? I see that you filled out a form. I see that you did this. I see that you did this, right? And then you can just ask, like, hey, you do whatever it is that you're calling out, like, hey, you did reach out regarding this, correct? Or you can say, right. So get them saying yes is like factually there versus apologetic. So like, hey, sorry to bother you. I don't like saying that. Yeah, totally fair question. I purposely on calls usually don't mention who I am. I go straight for like a one sentence ask up front. But then when I do get hit with the who this is, boom, there we go. Kyle mentioned chat. I usually say the name and say, this is Kyle. I was supposed to give you a call back. I love it, Kyle. Kyle, chef's kiss right there. That's beautiful, right? So that's perfect of how to handle that up front when you get hit with the who is this. Perfect. Good job, Kyle. That's awesome. And Jason, good job on the answer. Do you guys get the how did you get my number or gatekeeper? Anyone? If not, then I'll leave it here and you guys can review it later, by the way. But those are the other ones that we see as well, the top ones. How did you get my number? Gatekeeper. What's this in regarding to? My favorite thing, I used to do dental implants, right? So marketing for dental implants, and it was Gatekeeper Central. Our goal was never to ask for the doctor because we knew that was a red flag for them. It was to ask for the office manager who was in the front lines with them on those calls. And so, like, those were the easier ones to ask for. Um, and then this is the stuff and the frames that you can do with this, right? Hey, appreciate you. I know you screen a lot of these. If I can get their name, I'd repeat back their name as well. Hey, Jerry, thank you so much for this. I appreciate you screen a lot of these. Be honest. right? Be honest and specific. So it's more dig into this. Hey, it's about your website. It's about your marketing. Not trying to sell anything on phone. I just need 2 minutes with your, if you don't know the name to use the role with your office manager, if you can find out the name, do that to see if it's even relevant, right? So I don't say what's the best way to get on the calendar. I ask if they have time, if they have a couple minutes right now. If you need to get on a calendar because some industries are a little bit different where they book on the calendar and so forth, then you can do that. But that's probably the biggest thing. If you can also get the gatekeeper's name, like, oh, Jerry, hey, it's Richard again. Want to touch base and see if, and whatever the office manager name was, if Janie was there, right? And then I can just use that and move forward. It just builds a little bit more personality and shows that you're not a one-shot call, right? That you're actually going to be there and you're here to help serve them as well. Is everyone good with that? I like this one the most, right? And we've seen this, and someone brought this up in our coaching community, so I thought this was really cool. Completely different animal. So I do want to discuss it just for a second. When it's like the Google Voice, hey, this is Google Voice screening, by the way. This sounds crazy, but you ready for this? I'm just going to jump straight to the thing. Say their name, and then say it's, and then stop saying anything else. So like, hey, Kaden, it's stop. Because then the message will cut off, and the people are like, well, they said my name, and they're kind of this. It freaking is awesome, by the way. So we've been doing this for probably the past 2 weeks. Go and use this. I usually say the name and say, this is Kyle. I'm supposed to give you a call back. Oh, that was for before. Yeah, awesome. Ding, ding, ding. That's awesome. So Jason, Kyle, like, I'm telling you right now, say their name, it's, and stop talking. They are so much more curious. I have hardcore rules on this. Keep it friendly, do this, cut off, creates an open loop. Keep it casual. Tone is everything here, by the way. This is the biggest thing. Relax in mid volume, so slightly downward inflection. If you guys know what that is, that'd be great. Like, hey, hey, Kyle, it's so not, hey, Kyle, right? It's not an upward inflection, it's a downward. Hey, Kyle, right? Oh yeah, don't use Easter Bunny or anything else real name, right? Hey Kyle, it's this. Like I just do that, and it works. That'd be funny, by the way, Santa Claus, Easter Bunny. Um, don't rush it. It creates nervousness on there, and just actually stop talking, and then have your opener loaded once they pick up, because it's gonna be fast. There is no ring to get in your head, so do that. That's probably one of our favorite things as of recently, because we've seen a lot of our clients just get the rowboat callers, right? The instant hang up, I'm not going to cover as much unless someone says they're getting instant hang up in the chat. So I'll drop this in the chat. Are you guys getting the instant hang up? If so, then I'll cover it deeper. If not, then I'm not going to cover it pretty hardcore. It's not a rejection, right? Maybe the wrong person answered. This is where you have to route to the proper person. Unless you already have the person who you're calling, like if it's residential and so forth, like homeowners, right? But if you don't know who it is and you're calling like a bigger company, just get to route it to the proper person. Depending on your industry, so you might be in an industry where this is not allowed, so please follow the rules and regulations of this in compliance. But if you can double down in industry, especially like B2B, if you can, and someone hangs up on me or anything else, I said, hell, my bad, my phone, I think got disconnected. And I just double dial someone like I call them and I'm like, hey, is Jerry there? Right? And they hang up on me. I'll wait. I'll call them again and like, hey, is Jerry there? Who's this? Right? Although, sorry, it sounds like I got disconnected from you, and then I jump in, right? I know going in that they're a little bit more defensive, but I can also handle any one of those. So it's not one of those like the second I hang up, I'm like, well, that was fun and I'm done. No, I'll still try and try seeing if I can break that because it's almost like to me, it feels like a video game if I can solve the instant hangups or not interested and get past those. The more you can get past and the more opportunities you're creating yourself down for the future and so forth. So I would strongly lean into that. So that would be my little take for this, my hot take. If you get the voicemail, everyone has different preferences on here. So I'll keep this very straightforward. Keep it very there. Don't leave a voicemail on the first attempt on an age lead or anything else. Depends on your industry if that's your best recommendation that you got from your team. I like the curiosity of with them calling back. So if I double down, they still don't pick up. I don't leave a voicemail the first 1 to 2 times of calling them, but on the third time I might by that point, right? But I don't do this. And if you can, depending on your compliance and industry, I love doing a follow-up text. Hey, try to get in touch with you. Let me know when you have a minute. I don't say anything else beyond that. Hey, try to get in touch with you. Let me know when you have a minute. Then I get the text. Who's this? When I get the who's this text, I call them up right then and there. It depends if you can leave a voice text. I haven't seen this work out as well, unless you see it has like a blue dot and everything else, depending on what carrier of phone you're on. But I've seen that one do that as well. Hayden dropped in the chat. We can automatically set up a voicemail to drop or not drop depending on the stage amount of times you dial. That's what I'm talking about, Caden. Okay, so freaking, we got to build that out with the call boards. So on your call boards, and I bet Caden, I'm not saying to pull this up right now, but you probably know if you leave a voicemail, how many times you get a call back versus not, and so forth, and at what stage would be beneficial. But that's freaking awesome that you can do voicemail drops because I personally don't like voicemail drops after the first two calls. So if you can do it with, dude, I love call boards, by the way. But when I'm in a deeper stage where like they clearly have not responded to me right, um, we call them. I don't remember what it was called. I think we called the white elephant is what our team used to call it. And I could be wrong on that phrase. It was like this mythical creature that we can never get in touch with after we've tried calling the people 5 times. So we call them a white elephant list. Now here's the thing: our sales team, if they were able to book anyone off a white elephant list, they actually got paid double booking rates and stuff on there, which is kind of cool. So that's what got all of our white elephants called a lot more is that we've already tried 5 times and we haven't got in touch with them. And so they went to this white elephant list, which sounds weird, but like they would get paid double if that person was on that list. And we would go back and like, hey, confirm that this person's been called more than 5 times. This is call 6, 8, 9, whatever it is. And then we've actually got in touch with them. So that was kind of like our rule for that. And it works out really well. I know everyone on this call has never dealt with anyone that's angry. No, I'm just kidding. If they're angry, don't match their energy. Don't take this right, don't bring in the bad energy and so forth. It's just move on from there, right? If that happens with you, make your call deposition and so forth, and understand how your team wants to handle that moving forward. I just wouldn't carry that angry energy that they gave to you into your next call. Your next call is not going to know if they were angry beforehand or not. So just don't bring that in. And some people, they get an anger run, and I get for cussing at you and everything else, and you have to take a break. Like I'm not going to dismiss that. But over time, just learn how to do this. I'll share one funny thing. When the iPhone came out, this is how old I am. When the iPhone came out, I actually worked for our call center. That was Verizon Wireless because I was the one who had the iPhone. And we had a pre-recorded message. I was like, hey, thank you for calling Verizon Wireless. This is Richard. I'll be able to help you today. The second I said, hey, thank you for calling, and that was a recorded message. Listen, you mother beeper, beep, beep, beep. And they were just cussing me out. I'm a weird psycho guy. I would start smiling like, all right, this is gonna be a tough case. There's nothing I can do. I can't hang up on them. They're calling for support and everything else, and something's wrong with their phone. And this new technology called the iPhone came out. It was very brand new. So of course people were going to be upset. But like I'm the cycle that started smiling, was like, all right, this is gonna be cool. That's what got me promoted to shift supervisor and all these different things from there. But like learn how to handle the anger runs and how you process them so you can move through them better and faster. Everyone cool with that? Okay. Last one here is we're just going to cover 2 things and then we're going to jump into this. And we're pretty much on time, so we got enough time to do this. And I definitely want to take the last part before the top of the hour. Setting the objections. I've already had someone, right? I already have someone I'm working with, right? You have that objection. So we got this submitted by real estate marketing people. So when you guys submit your question, you can always bring it up. We can handle this. The bucket is in uncertainty, so it's disguised as loyalty to the other people. You can, so this is the ACA framework of acknowledge, confirm, and ask. Hey, good. I've also been rewarded if you didn't have anything about it, or if you weren't doing anything about it, right? So that's like a good way to disarm them right away. This is our favorite one for that because we get this one all the time. All right, I'm already working with somebody, right? Just so you know where you're at. Are you knocking it out of the park? Or is there more of a fine? And this is the funniest thing ever. It's a fine. I'll haven't looked around at that situation. I like that's all hyphenated, by the way. But like, what situation is it for them, right? Like, confirm where they're at. Is this like you're absolutely crushing right now, or it's just don't broke, don't fix it? Is kind of what I used to say, and I still say it right now. If you can change one thing about how it's working right now, what would it be? Notice I didn't say how it's not working. Hey, if you could change one thing about how it's working right now, what would it be? So I'm not trying to like, it is calling out the pain, but it's also giving the opportunity to change something that's working versus just attacking it right away. So that's one of those that I would look at for there. The follow-ups that they gauge, you're not asking to find anyone, right? You're looking for the gaps. So what's the gap in what they're doing? When's the last time that you've actually compared what they're doing, right? What's the last time they've compared this? So go to the reframe of this, right? I actually personally like when they're already working with somebody because I can understand if someone's doing it better than I am, or if there's room and space to actually work with them, is what I kind of like to do. And then I'm able to confirm that with them. Hey, you have a contract, you have 3 months left. What numbers do you need to hit to renew with them? Or what numbers are you actually looking for? Because I can show you some of the clients we're working with. So I personally love this objection because I know how to handle it really well. And I've seen that objection pop up. So I want to make sure that that was discovered and discussed. The other one you guys just get hit with right away, not interested, right? And marketing agency also filled this one out, and a couple other people did as well. All good. Hey, that totally makes sense. Out of curiosity, is it not interested in something specifically, or just not interested in anything right now? Like, can you tell me a little more about this, or what were you hoping that this might solve for you since you took the time to look at it in the first place? Now, this only works if you actually on a call, but hey, not interested in what? Can you help me understand what that is? You might get hung up on there, but if you just ask a deeper question, it can actually lead to a better conversation. So that's the not interested part. Is everyone good with that? We're good so far? I think you guys are all going silent on me because I'm about to pull some of you guys up on the call here. Sweet. There we go. I don't need it. I already have enough clients, right? We get this a lot sometimes with people. Hey, that's a good problem to have, genuinely, right? So, and be genuine about this. Don't say genuine if you're not genuine about it. If it's booked, is it that you're busy or are you getting the really jobs that you want? Because those are two completely different things. If the right client came along tomorrow at the right price, would you turn them away because you said that you're fully booked out, right? So it's less need more of that, or where are you at with this? Ask the better questions. The rate is too high. Hey, fair. I appreciate you saying that. It's just going through. It's going quiet on me, right? Instead of going quiet on me, sorry. When you say it's too high, do you mean that's too high compared to something else you're looking at, or it's too high for what you're able to do right now, right? So this is the whole thing. This is the whole ball game. Don't skip that. I'll even put this down just so you don't read that out loud if you're open this up. So I also, it drops it in here. Perfect. The apple to apples. I like to always ask, hey, did the apples to apples comparison, are we really comparing apples to oranges? It's probably the biggest thing that I like to do for there. So really find out the symptom of what they're really going for if they say that your rate's too high or something else. Already have coverage is kind of like similar to like the I already have something, right? So go through and handle the ACA. I'll go through this. I listed all these out, so let me actually do this for you. We don't have to cover them all right now, but you can see we have a ton of them listed. So let's go up to the top. I listed 9 of them out for you. So if you have any other ones that you're going through, please bring them up. You now know how to do the ACA. And so you can actually go do this. So with the two types of people in the room right now, there's going to be people that do this work and people that don't do this work. I want you to write out the 5 objections that you're facing. We're going to role play some of them before the top of the hour. We might run over by a minute or so. Run the ACA for every one of them and then say them out loud. And then listen to your calls weekly and listen for those objections. I would recommend role playing daily for 15 minutes before you start your day, just to get warmed up with it, ready to go. Check your voice and your intonation as well, like your tonality behind this, even after objection. Move forward. Here's all the different stuff. I'll make sure to drop this in. If you are ready, I at least want 2 people. So the first 2 people that drop in the words role play, not including myself, role play, drop this in, and then we'll have 2 people role play with each other. You'll give us context about what your industry is and what's the objection you're facing, and then the person will give that objection. And we'll see how you handle this. And I would also add the difficulty level. Being, do you want it to be a hard objection, like it's going to be really hard for you to solve? Or do you want it to be like an easy one that's like really easy for you to do? So, first 2 people drop in role play. Let's get you up. If you are not one of the ones because you're like, you know what, I'm not going to jump up for this role play, at least list out what your objections are, and so we can give you this time to ask questions and so forth. While you're doing that, we'll make sure to get this document in front of you as well. So I'll share this with you so you can make a copy, and I'll give you the PDF as well. And then any other questions, let us know. This is your time now, so we're going to turn the time over to you and help you out with this. And if you have any takeaways, feel free to drop them in the chat as well. So let me get this document over to you. I got the chat open as well, so I still see it, but I want to make sure I get this document. Anyone with link? All right, let's get that. What's that? What's the G's for? The clave. Let me drop this in the chat. You got full mouth? What's that? Is that your objection? Is that the objection you face? What is that? Oh, you're eating? I get you. A little lunch and learn. Let me also get the PDF for you as well. Okay, so there's the document. I dropped it in the chat. All right, the clave, you're up. Who's out? Who else is up? Kata, I might call you from the bench if needed, man. Might get you a step up here. You always step up, by the way, so that's not the question. All right. It looks like a double thing. I'm still gonna drop it in. The format might be a little weird. The clave is on here. Kaden, you ready to go? PDF. All right, let's get both of you up
Already.
here. Kaden, you're already up here. Let's get the clave. Let me get you up here as well. Allow to talk. I think I can move you to promote the panelist. All right. I know that you have a mouthful right now, but Clay, what is the objection that you face? You can unmute yourself, by the way. There you go.
Hey guys,
What's up? What's up?
not much. Just use this opportunity to eat a little, but
Yeah,
uh, the some role plays no one was keen to, so let's do this.
absolutely. What's the objection that you want to face, and Kaden will give it to you?
Well, like usually the common objection that we have is like just tell me the price, right? And we don't want to share
Oh.
the price before they hop on the Zoom before they see the value of our system that we provide.
Hmm.
Um, I'm usually kind of deflecting it. That's a great question. Are we going to provide all these answers on the call with the advisor? He will show you everything before you get into the price. You're actually going to understand how it works.
Okay, wait.
Yeah.
Don't worry about handling it yet. So you do trading, is that correct? And what type of trading?
Yeah. We do Forex AI trading.
Oh, Forex. Perfect. Okay. So, Kaden, you
Great.
ready? So, Kaden, you're the one on there. Now, hold on. Like, babe, do you want easy or hard? You want like he's not going to listen to you, or he's going to lay down? Which one do you want?
I don't care. Just hit me. I'll see.
There we go. We're not going to, Kaden, choose a
Love it.
difficulty. Don't tell us what the difficulty is. I'm going to turn it over to both of you. So go ahead and hit with the objection, Kaden, and but Clay, let's handle it.
Okay. Um, you want me just to start with the objection?
Yeah, hit him with the
Great.
objection. Hey, just tell me
Awesome.
the price.
Awesome. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I'm pretty busy. I got a lot of stuff going on right now, and so if I could just kind of find out how much this costs, that would be beneficial. Just um yeah, because I'm looking at a couple options, but I just kind of want to know what it costs so I could make this decision.
Yes, yeah, I get you. We are all busy as well. Shit. See, I am nervous now. Can we start again?
Sure, no problem. Let's
Really,
do it.
really quick. Caden went hard on you, right? He threw the hot sauce. How many objections
It
did he
was it
throw at
hard?
you?
It wasn't that hard. Like I heard
No, no,
harder.
but how many objections did he throw at you, though? That's the funny part. He didn't just ask for the
Actually,
price. I'm
yeah,
busy. I'm looking at other options. Can you tell me a price?
three.
My dog, yeah, he buried the objection, so he went hard. Let's go for it again.
All right, we'll go for it again. Hey, Clip, yeah, appreciate it, man. Yeah, honestly, I'm pretty busy. Got a lot going on right now. And so, I mean, I was looking at a couple of these options, but yeah, if you could just kind of give me the price, that way I can make a decision, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll totally get it, Kaden, and I understand that you're busy. However, these systems that we have there are exactly for people who are busy, who don't have time to trade.
Okay.
Just out of curiosity, what is the price point that are you looking for? Like,
Yeah, good question. I would say anything around 800 to 2 grand, probably.
okay. Look, usually what we do here, people who are interested in these systems, they usually want to hop on the Zoom call to see if it's actually the right fit for them before they do any decision. And because we have multiple system, every system has a different price points, right? Would it be unreasonable to set up a Zoom call where you can gather all the information and in the worst case, you at least gonna leave the appointment with some new ideas or just something that you can compare in the future?
Got it. I mean, yeah, if we can do a 15-minute Zoom call, 10 minutes, I'd be down.
Yeah, usually they are about 30 to 35 minutes. When are you available for a quick chat?
Let's do next 2 hours,
In the next 2 hours. Let me see, what time zone are you? Pacific?
Mountain Standard.
Standard. Okay, I have 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. available. Which one would work better?
4 p.m.
4 p.m. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
gonna schedule this in. You're gonna get the Zoom invite. And would there be any reason why you wouldn't be able to do that appointment at that time?
Honestly, no, I should be able to. Just I have to jump into a meeting about 30 minutes after that, so 4:30. So for
Okay,
20,
great.
20, 25 minutes, we should be good.
And then could you as well use your computer?
Yes.
Fabulous. All right. Do you have any other question, Kaden?
No, well, I guess we'll see you then.
All right, you're all set and enjoy the demonstration.
There we go. Give it up, man. Everyone drop in the chat. That was freaking good. By the way, you guys can drop your chats and your insights and so forth. But Clave, how did it feel for you, by the way?
Emotionless, I guess.
The one thing I did write this in my notes for you, I would actually raise up your tonality just by a little bit. Stay calm and cool, relax, but just a little bit more in there. Like, man, I'm really like stay excited with it if that's cool. Versus like
Mhm.
oh, okay, yeah. So check this out. This is what we're gonna be doing because you kind of got into there, right? Versus like the confirm every step along the way. Is that fair?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the
Awesome.
nervousness, like having so many years listening.
Yeah, absolutely. I get that. Hayden, what was your feedback or insights?
Yeah. I legitimately was just trying to be, totally normal, like as if I was, taking on that persona. And I felt like you did a great job. Acknowledging that I'm busy. That was my main objection. And you basically said that these systems are for people who are busy. And so taking that, acknowledgement and then basically turning the solution into a solution for that pain point was really good and actually piqued me wanting, piqued my interest, wanting me to listen more. Yeah, so I would say it was well done for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. One other thing that I would recommend, and this is a little bit more advanced, but I feel like you're there, is that hey, the calls between now and it's gonna be in a couple hours. If there's anything that you want to send beforehand just to keep them stoked and ready to go, because some people can say, yeah, let's talk later, and then they ghost you later, right? What information, hey, when we jump on our next call, I'll definitely have this information for you. I'm gonna meet with my team member. I'll have a meeting scheduled with them right after this call right now. But anything else you can do just to keep them excited, like you're gonna put more effort in towards it, even if it's just like a feeling of effort versus actually have to jump through hoops would
Okay,
be a
yeah.
recommendation. Is that fair?
No, that's cool. We usually have like a pre-call video that we send them, so I as well tell him like, yeah, hey, please watch this video as it can answer 50% of the
Yeah.
questions that you might have already, and
Yeah.
the rest just ask them on the call.
And when you get on the call, if they haven't watched that video, I would recommend, right? This is going outside of objections. I would recommend, hey, we could talk about this for the next 30 minutes, but the video is only 5 minutes long. So I'd rather play that video and be on mute. I'm still going to be here, but have you watch that video first? Is that fair? Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay. Well, we
15
could watch it.
hard. It's 15 minutes.
Gotcha. Um, yeah, so that's the thing that I would look at for there. It's just like, does it make more sense to watch the video if they're on the call or just cover it with them? I'm a little bit long-winded, so I'd rather be more concise on the video for them, right? Versus do
Mhm.
that. But that's just a judgment call that you can make. Is that fair?
Yeah, 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 absolutely.
Sweet. Absolutely. All right. Hey, first off, kudos for that. Keep crushing it. It is the top of the hour, so I understand people have to go and so forth. Does anyone else want to jump up for role play? By the way, here's the thing. In future sessions coming up in the next couple of weeks, we will save time for questions and role play on there. So we will have time either at the beginning of the call or at the end of the call for this. My goal is by the end of these sessions and so forth, as you guys go through this accelerator, that you feel confident enough to jump up here so that you can help this out. The ultimate goal is that if you come on the handle objection and say you flub it or anything else on these calls while we're going through this, we're here to help you and help guide you through this. I've heard people come on here to handle objections, right? And they stuttered through this and they were so embarrassed that they shut off the camera, they went on mute, and they didn't leave the call, but they kind of like disappeared. It says, I'd rather you get all those out now in front of us because it might still happen on your first couple calls, but let's get them all out right now so that when you do get to a call and you have this happen, you know how to handle it moving forward. It's kind of like riding a bike. The first time you pedal, you're probably going to fall when you're off training wheels or so forth. But our goal is that once you get this, you're able to handle maneuver this. Is that
And
fair
I
for
have
everyone? Yeah, go for it.
one more question. There's
Yeah.
sometimes I come across like I wouldn't say this is an objection, but tell me why you're different, like why you better than the other company, and
Yeah.
then I decide to hop on a Zoom call. Like
Yeah.
how would
And
yeah
so that's the first bucket of uncertainty, right? And says, well, what? And so the thing I says, yeah, absolutely, 100%. I get that there's other people out there doing this, right? Just want to confirm with you really quick. What have you seen that you like from others, and what are you looking for that's missing right now? So it's kind of confirmation into the ask. I like to ask that question in there as if this gives me that understanding how much research have they already done, right? I,
Mhm.
I'm not going to go through the full list of comparison of competitors and so forth, but I will lay out, hey, the things that our clients tell us that's unique about what we do is X, Y, and Z. Are those things that you're also looking for, or is that just stuff that like doesn't matter to you? Most of the time, they're like, no, no, that stuff does matter. I'm like, okay, cool. So you actually do care about what you're doing when it comes to trading and so forth. You want to
Mhm.
be judicial. You want not judicial. You do want to have you due diligence when it comes to this, right? Yeah, yeah, I want to do that. Okay, then it sounds like you're a great fit for what we do. We're not the typical trading bros that do XYZ and focus on the shooting to the moon all the time. We want to be very conscious of what we do, but we also want to do that with you. Is that what your approach as well, or what's your approach when it comes to this?
Look, our systems, they are fully automated. So usually what I'm saying, like our advantage on the market is that these systems are fully automated. You are not involved in the trading yourself. And as well,
Hmm.
it's traded through your brokerage account. So you have absolute control over your funds. But
Yeah.
sometimes it's not enough for them. Like sometimes it's not really enough.
Well, and so that's where you'd ask, what else are you looking for? Because like what our system's done, what we've done is tried and true and all the stuff that you can say compliance wise, right? But then you just got to dig into the objections. What are you really looking for? Because sometimes what we've also noted is that when you're looking to talk about these different things, especially trading, is that they want to have the confidence and decisions are being made on their behalf so that they can set up what's the proper term? So they can set checkpoints of confidence like this is working or this isn't. Because a lot of people are actually scared for the fully automated world about like they don't know if it's going to work or not. Right? I
Uh,
mean, but like how did they set their own confidence and checks and balances to where like, hey, tell you what, and I'm not saying if you have this or not, it is fully automated, but we show you as you're investing the different things to look for to know that it's working or not and what you need to do moving forward and the different things that you can pull. In some industries, we call them levers, like, hey, the different levers that you can do so that we can move forward, right? And that's where they're like, oh, okay, they just really need the like context and clarity of what they're doing to move forward to make this happen. Is that
great.
cool?
Thanks. Yeah, yeah. Thanks.
Absolutely. So the sessions moving forward, just give everyone insights. The sessions moving forward, we're going to do about, let's say, 30 to 45 minutes of like lessons and laying that out. But then we'll actually go through and give you time and space. I really want to start understanding because we've been doing a couple sessions already. Where is everyone at? And where are you stuck? Where are your objections in your process? And let's go and solve those. That's the whole reason we're here to serve and do this. By the way, this is my dopamine to serve. And so, like, when I hear the breakthroughs or different stuff, I know, correct me if I'm wrong because you're on the panelist, right? But Clay, if when you're doing this stuff, like I want to hear those breakthroughs or know that you have this stuff handled, so we're making better people. At the end of the day, is our goal. And so over time, I just want to give you guys an expectation because you're still on this call right now. You haven't left yet, right? I know some people had it at the top of the hour. Our goal is to help you out, but we need to know where you are and how we can help you out. So it's great to keep training you and everything else, but we have to make sure this is personal for you so that we can help every single person out on this call. If we can do that, then we're able to help you move forward, right? And so those are the different things that we want to understand. And I'm making note of everyone that's doing the insurance and the retirement and the FEX and the Medicare and everything else. How do we make this better for you so that you can ultimately get better dials and handle those dials with conversations and handle those objections? End of the day, we're here to make you better. And so that's it. Now, I'm going to keep myself on repeat, so I'll shut up now. Any other questions that everyone has in the chat? If not, then we'll be good for today. We have the session as well coming up on Tuesday with Alex, and so that should be exciting. But any other questions that anyone has? Everyone good? But Clay, thank you for jumping up, by the way. Very cool, by the way. We
Yeah,
got,
just call me V. Is Václav if you want to know.
what is it?
Yeah, I knew that you can pronounce it. It's Václav.
Václav?
Yeah, just call me V, like a Victor. You know,
What's
it's
up,
Václav.
V?
Yeah, Václav.
Okay, I'll work on that. I'll get it by the end. Don't worry, man. I'll call you V for now, but I'm going to work on that, knock that out for you. Sound good?
Great. Perfect.
Love it. Awesome. Kaden, anything else? Your future requested training? Yeah,
Yeah,
make
yeah,
waiving.
nothing. All I would say is we're gonna send out a form that you can basically put in information to request different trainings or yeah, anything, any ideas you have to make this better. We want to make sure that we're serving the best we can.
I heard you guys want to
Yes.
do as well like a live calls, like calling our leads someday. Was it right? Did I understand it right?
Kaden?
Yeah, we are still looking into that just on compliance reasons. Just there's some compliance things that we have because for some industries you have to be licensed, things like that. So we might still do that.
Oh,
But
not
for
for us.
now,
So
yeah, for now
I
we're
already spoke with the leadership and they are open to give you access for that. So if
got
you
it.
want to, then we can do it.
Okay, thank you. Good to know.
All
Yeah,
right.
absolutely. That would be good to know, by the way. So we'll probably send that out like, hey, if we were to do live calling, what are the rules or restrictions that we'd have to follow? So, because we could also, Kaden, and I'm just saying this out loud just for a second, for people on this call, is the live calling might be just them since they are licensed and so forth, right? But we can listen to what they're saying and help
Correct.
guide them through that. That could be also
Mhm.
another option that we've seen.
Mhm.
Yep.
So. Cool. Alrighty, everyone good? We're good to go?
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Sweet. Awesome. Thank you all. If you have anything else, feel free to drop in. Look, you guys got fireworks. You're welcome. We'll take it from there. If anything else pops up, let us know, and we'll see you all on the next one. Thank you all. See ya.
Ciao, ciao.